Hello everybody and welcome to the playthrough for Pro and Expert Division with various win for the playoff tournament here in Golf Clash the game. Before we start, make sure that you do hit that thumbs up button. Also, subscribe to the channel and turn on the notifications. You can get the ultimate tournament guides for Pro and Expert and or Master by going to patreon.com/golfclashtommy. Link directly in the description down below. You have the info box on the right hand side with the club distance adjustment, elevation adjustment, also what ball and club type I suggest you to play with. Have in mind that those are all suggestions and you don't have to follow it if you don't want to, but there's always a plan behind it. So let's go to hole number one. Hole number one, and we start off with a no movement. Don't touch the target until it's time to adjust the ring. 6 bars of topspin, 3 bars of side spin to the left, and 6 bars topspin is used to show you that you can play this type of drive with even lower level clubs. So Apocalypse level 4 plus, Extra Mile level 8, and we do have then the Thor's Hammer, I think level 5 to get that 6 bars of topspin. Adjust max plus 10, push up to max. I'm using a click of overpower here and 3/4 of ball curl to the left, so 0.75 of the ball outside to the left of the adjustment ring. The ball rolls down here on the fairway, and my goal here is to get very close to minimum distance line is the plan. So, and what's going to happen here now is that I'm gonna move my club to minimum distance of my club. You can see here now, there it is. And you can see that I have a ball guideline that is going to roll towards the pin, and we're going to utilize that. So I'm going to do like this. As we do have tailwind, I'm going to push up 2 rings, applying the backspin that is necessary to get the ball guideline to the hole. In the video here, I do adjust minimum distance minus 10%, but I would like to play with a minus 5% instead, because pushing up 2 rings from minimum distance would equal 2% slider on our application if we're using something like that. Adjust, take our shot, and the ball is then going to drop just left side of the cup, and that's why I want to change to minus 5% elevation instead of minus 10, because minus 5% elevation has a difference of 0.1 in the adjustment compared to minus 10, and that's why minus 5 is, in my opinion, more accurate. So in the end, if you for the second shot, just to summarize that, if you do have tailwind, push up 2 rings, adjust from there. If you don't have tailwind, you have crosswind or headwind, you just leave the target at minimum distance club and you apply minimum distance minus 5% all the time. Super good chance on hole number one, and I do believe this is going to be a must eagle regardless of what wind you're having. Hole number 2, and we're going to play with our sniper and a navigator ball. Obviously, if the wind is going to be higher, like around 8, 9, 10, Kingmaker ball would be a better ball to reduce the wind. So we don't have to play with, you know, the higher wind we're playing with, the more effect it's going to have once it hits the ground the first time. So we obviously want to limit that. Start by having top of the red ring by the rough line, ball guideline through the hole before we add spin. Then we apply 3.2 backspin and just a click of left spin as the wind is pointing a little bit northeast. If we would be having a direct tailwind, we would not add any side spin, and that's obviously if we have a wind coming a little bit northwest, we would add a click of right spin to the right instead, just to counteract the way the ball is going to bounce after the first bounce. Medium distance with a 25% over adjustment, power 1 ball setting. Hit perfect, and this ball is going to be close all the time. I really do enjoy this par 3 and has always done, because it is a flat fairway we bounce on. We have a flat green, which means if we can just adjust accurately and read the wind angles properly, then, you know, it's going to be a drop that's going to happen more times than not. For hole number 3, this is going to be a tough hole, especially if we do have headwind. But if we do have tailwind or crosswind, I would strongly advise you to play with a berserker ball to give yourself the power 5, most especially for the second shot. I'm using 2 bars of left spin and a click of top spin, and my goal here now is to push this drive hard and to get that ball to go directly over the rough and sand that you can see there at the top and land nicely on the fairway very close to the end rough. Again, this is a max plus 10 adjustment here, and once that is done we shall push up, and I push up this one to plus 20 31. I pushed that one up to complete max. No overpower whatsoever here when it comes to Apocalypse level 5 plus. If we do play with Apocalypse level 4, I would recommend to go with 1.5 ring of overpower due to the less amount of power on that club. Try to hit perfect because our great right is going to be close to the right hand side, but now we are a little bit lucky and still ending up on the fairway. Second shot. We're going to play just before the bunker, as now we do have the power 5 ball that we, in that case, can, you know, reach much further than we obviously would with a power 4 or a power 3 ball. So we don't really have to use the rough. We can actually do somewhat of a semi-attempt to try to attack the pin. But, you know, again, look at this hole as an eagle hole. Anything else than that is just a massive bonus. Here in the video, I don't adjust max plus 10, but I would recommend to go max plus 10 due to this. You can see how close we are to the rough line, so we are definitely under adjusted, especially in tailwind, but I would say that that's going to be the same case in headwind due to the, you know, the lesser flight and also the compressed ball guideline. So max plus 10 for that adjustment. Use the wood club that gives you the most power, and if you have the pleasure to play with the Cataclysm level 7 or level 8, use that club. But this shot, the second shot, would go as equally well with the big dog, the Horizon, or for that matter a lower level Apocalypse. Sorry, a lower level Cataclysm, obviously. Hole number 4. In headwind, we need to play with a power 3 ball. In crosswind or tailwind, that's not necessary. But in headwind, we will otherwise go in between clubs if that's, you know, if we don't, you know, adapt with that ball. So, we're going, in this case, with 1.8 bars of topspin, 1 left spin, and top of the yellow ring by the rough line, ball guideline to be straight. Very important that the ball guideline is straight and going through the hole. Adjustment shall be maximum distance with a 10% over adjustment power 1 ball setting. So even if we are using a power 3 ball, we shall adjust for power 1 ball setting. So for 7 miles per hour, we shall adjust in that case 7.6 rings. I was looking at my little cheat sheet here on the side. Bouncing into the rough, rolls up and right at pin, or not right at pin, but right at the hole for a beautiful hole in one on hole 4. Regardless what wind we're gonna have here, we're gonna have a very good chance getting a drop, and this is what I would say to be considered one of the easier of the holes that we do play of the Glen Monarch Estate. Hole number 5, we will, with any type of crosswind and tailwind, try to go for the green, or at least to get close to the green to lock in this eagle. If we do have a headwind, we need to lay up on the first fairway. That's kind of a no-brainer. Unfortunately, I'll have no video for that, only where we are going for it. So, start to play with an Apocalypse, in my opinion. Doesn't matter what level it is. You just need the curl, in my opinion, if you're not going to try to attempt a power hook, which are also a possibility. Start at max, wide train to the left by the rough line, 6 top spin and 3 left spin. Adjust max plus 10. No push up here at all. We go with full curl to the left and try to hit perfect. Great ball to the left is still fine. However, a bad great to the right may be in risk of getting into the rough on the right. I'm not sure, but it could be. I'm just saying it so we do have that one in mind. Get that shot easily over to the other fairway, and we're gonna have a simple wedge towards the pin. Those of you playing with Apocalypse level 4, once you have adjusted, push up 6 yards to make sure that you do get to the same range as you would be with an Apoc 5 plus, because you have 6 yards less of power on Apoc 4. Second shot here, we do have a simple wedge, 20% elevation, and here you obviously need to, you know, check your club distance. It is always recommended to check out the Endbringer School video from Jared Alexander here on YouTube, which is absolutely excellent to try to be better at your wedge shots. But in the end though, this is going to have to be an eagle if we do have any form of tailwind or crosswind, because with crosswind we can still make it over. It's just when it is headwind, it's going to be too difficult in my opinion, and especially with the compressed ball guideline, we will most definitely put the water in play, and you know, we never want to go into the water, at least I don't. Hole number 6 is the longest hole and the most boring hole that we're going to play in of the Glen Monarch Estate. This is no favorite of mine, but when we do have a headwind or a crosswind for that matter, we shall just lay up. If we do have tailwind, we shall be trying to get over the rough and the sand line to try to get over to the second fairway for a chance of reaching the green in 2. But that's unfortunately not that I can show you here in this video. I will just show you a layup option here, which will be the most common way of playing, especially in pro and also in expert with somewhat lower level clubs. 3 bars of topspin, get the ball as far up the fairway possible. That's the only thing that you're gonna look for. Max plus 10 is the adjustment, and that's going to give us a second shot with the big dog. I'm kind of like looking at the hole here to see what would be the best way to go, and I decide to go just left side, which is a standard way of playing on this particular hole, especially when we have to lay up like that. Adjustment's going to be max no elevation. I'm using 4 bars of topspin and 2 bars of side spin to the right when we do have a little headwind. If we would be having, you know, a more crosswind, we'd reduce the topspin. That's the same if I would be having tailwind. I will obviously reduce the topspin there as well. Because even though it's a boring and long hole that we're playing, we cannot play this one and mess up. So we need to get this ball to stay on the fairway to leave ourselves up with a possibility to attack the pin for the third shot to try to get the eagle. Because if we lay up, this is a hole where an eagle is going to be considered a drop. So we need to really be careful with that and just not lose interest, I was about to say. But when it comes to the third shot, we're going to change before we take a look here. We're going to have the thorn, and then we're going to change the elevation, which is going to be an elevation that is 15%, and we're gonna take a look at the video now. So the third shot, we play with a thorn. It's gonna be somewhere between medium and maximum distance of our club. No spin is the recommendation here, and then we adjust based on our club distance. Always go to max and then go back to minimum distance to just check where you are in terms of your club distance. Always pull over the bullseye, which means that you will then get the correct adjustment and try to hit perfect, which we do. And obviously with a perfect ball, we have a chance to get this ball to drop. It's not going to happen all the time, but you know, if you adjust it properly like we did, we have an eagle, and we're going to be super pleased because once again, an eagle is considered a drop on hole 6. Hole number 7. Here we do have a good chance. When we do have a northeast wind or any form of tailwind, we will still want to use a little bit of topspin. So I'm going to add that topspin first, which is 0.2 topspin, and have then the ball guideline towards the pin with the blue ring by the rough line at the top. The reason we give ourselves 3 rings of difference between the rough and, you know, the bullseye is because with tailwind we will have the ball to fly longer, and if we aim closer we risk clipping the rough, and then that ball is gonna 100% go into the water if that's happening. Max plus 20, power 1 ball settings, center the ball and try to hit perfect. If we do have a headwind, we need to go with more topspin. Obviously that's the same with crosswind as well, because then the ball will act a little bit different than it does in tailwind. Close to get this one to drop, but it's a very good chance here with any type of wind that we're going to have, and it's always going to be the sniper as we're somewhat medium distance of our club. Hole number 8, good chance for an eagle here in my opinion. I would say that if you're competing on the highest level, you should be, or like that, yeah, in the highest tier as well, but also competing for a gold, you should be getting this one for an eagle, otherwise you will lose out on your competitors. 4.5 bar topspin, and we start at complete max. In tailwind we can use a katana, that's the same in crosswind as well, but in headwind we all here from us recommend to go with a power 3 ball to make sure that we can limit the amount of overpower that is necessary. Max plus 10. Then we go with, you know, half of the ball inside the wall to the right. Right hit perfect, but a great right and a great left will still be fine. It obviously gives you a different, you know, distance to pin than what it would be if we would be hitting perfect. But in the end, we get ourselves to the fairway, 360 yards. That's perfect. Now, second shot, as we're not playing a linear way or a linear hole here, it is going to be important to check your club distance. So move your target up to max, go back to minimum distance to estimate what club range you are in. From there, we're going to play with no spin. And that is something that I always do on this hole. And if you do have the thorn 7 or less, then you shall always leave the ball guideline short of pin, otherwise you will come in too hot. If you play with thorn 8 or thorn 9, have the ball guideline to the pin, because then you have a way better ball guideline than what the thorn 7 and below is giving you. Adjust with no elevation here, and then try to hit perfect. Perfect ball, bounces nicely on the fairway, up, and we drop this one left side cup, and I don't care where it drops, just that it drops. This is once again a very good chance, and to just add that in the end, the reason I'm not going the right side is because I believe that the drive is easier to get consistent on the left side, and it's also a route that I've been playing for years, because this hole was in the game when I started to play, if I'm not mistaken. That was very, very long time ago. So that's why, you know, I'm going left. I know that route inside and out, compared to the right side, where I feel that the drive is somewhat inconsistent, at least my taste. So hole 8, good chance. We end up with hole number 9, which is going to be a difficult hole in regardless what wind we're going to have. So what I would recommend here now as a start is to play here with 4.5 bar topspin, 2 bars of left spin when we do have some sort of headwind. If we would be having tailwind, I would go back and play with somewhat 1 to 2 bars of topspin, depending on, you know, the direction of the tailwind, also how strong the tailwind are. So it's impossible for me to cover in all the wind angles, all the aspects here when looking at this in a various way. Adjust max plus a 10, and then we shall apply curl, which was in that case close to 1 ball of curl left, and overpower as well to get that ball over to the other side. Now we have done the tough job, especially with this wind, but you can see how the pin stands very close to the rough and the sand to the left there, which means that I'm not gonna go for that. I'm just going to go to get myself close, or not close, but I'm gonna get myself to be on green or just by the fringe or fairway, just to lock in the eagle. Because if we're going to push for an albatross here, if we just make a tiny mistake, we're stuck in the rough or sand, and we might risk losing the eagle. So this albatross is so extremely rare that it often comes when you are just very lucky and not even thinking about attacking the pin. So being on green like that, I'll take that all day and every day to just lock in the eagle, and I will let my opponents take unnecessary risks, lose out shots, and I will then have a massive advantage over them. Thank you so much everybody for watching this playthrough for Pro and Expert Division with various wins for the playoff tournament here in Golf Clash and the game. Get the ultimate tournament guide for Pro or Expert, or for that matter Master, by going to patreon.com/golfclashtommy. We also offer help for Tour Play, where we do offer the exclusive tour text guides, which you can take a look at as well, linked directly in the description down below. Video sponsored by Golf Clash and Playdemic. Once again, thank you for watching, and good luck in your Golf Clash game.